Welcome, everyone. So excited to have you here with Greg Toes, the essential oil master and alchemist and guru. You might not like that name, Greg, but I'm just going to throw it out there. I knew it. I just wanted to provoke you a little bit.
Mm.
So today, the sun is transiting gate 53, which is a gate of starting things. And we are starting a new dive into essential oils and the strategy, our strategy. If you look at human design, type is the ground, strategy, and authority. That they create a kind of a triangle of support. If you have those three things, you are good to go. The rest is fantastic, but those three things are the core of what you need to get started with human design. So we've been working with type. We're going to work with strategy. Authority would be the next foray. But for right now, we're diving into strategy. So on a scale of 0 to 10, if you could put in the chat your understanding of strategy, so I know where to speak to. 0, you don't really know that much about it. 10, like, yeah, I've been studying it. I'm familiar with it. So we have a 7, we have 10. Yes, Joe. 7, 3. Okay. 8, Leslie. Yep. 3, 6. Great. All right. I'm going to ask you another question, which is how aligned are you with your strategy just today on a scale of 0 to 10? And I'll ask this again. I'm going to guide you through a meditation on your strategy. And then Greg is going to lead us in the protocol for the strategy. Unsure. Yeah. So yeah, 7, 9. Okay, 6. Great. We're just taking a 6, 3, 5. We're just kind of taking the snapshot. 6. We're taking a snapshot to see where are we now? Where do we want to be? So strategy is the thing that helps you have flow in your life. It's an alignment with the universe that enables you to navigate and move through life with more ease and more grace, I would say, more grace. So before I jump in, I just want to check and see, Greg, is there anything you want to say before
No,
we start?
no,
Nope.
I think that's great. I
Okay.
like that it's the flow. My
Yes.
brain always likes to break it down to like a little phrase, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. I can meditate on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to remove your pin, Greg, and I'm going to guide us in a meditation on our strategy. So I'm going to go through each of the different types. The strategy is married to your type. It's dependent on your type. They go hand in hand. They're not separate. If you are a generator, for example, your strategy is to respond. It's to be in response to life. So I'm going to go through each of the strategies. If you want, while you're listening to the other strategies, you can think of people who have that strategy, or you can simply stay with your own. So I'm going to name them first, all of them, and then I'm going to go into a little meditation with each one of them. Sound good to everybody? You guys good? Give me a hands up or thumbs up. You're in for a dive into the strategy. So let's just take a moment and come home to ourselves, closing your eyes, sensing your arms and legs, putting a gentle smile on your lips, appreciating your precious human birth, your physical body, the space you occupy. Taking a breath, feeling the breath as it moves through your body, enlivens your body. And taking a moment just to have an intention to align with your strategy. And as we do this, we make room for where we are not aligned. We have compassion for that. We're curious about where we're not aligned, where we're out of flow with the universe, where we're efforting, where we're stressing, where we're striving. For a moment, imagine that the universe has your back. Imagine that maybe you're a VW bug and you're trying to drive in sand dunes, and that's not a good strategy for you, right? Maybe you're a jaguar and you're on a gravel road, maybe not the best place for you. So we're looking at how can we let the universe support us on our path so that we have a, a ride, a journey that feels in alignment, that feels lifted, that feels supported, rather than struggling and trying and efforting, having our ego try to decide for us what roads we should be on, how we should be navigating the world. So I'm going to just gently take a first round through the 5 different strategies, and then I'll go a little deeper with each one. And again, stay with yourself. Stay with yourself. Stay curious about yourself. Stay open to where you are and what you might want to feel or experience that's different than where you are. So 35% of us are generators. We have a defined sacral. Our strategy is to be in response to life, to follow our yeses and nos. And if you think of a dog sniffing, it likes the smell of this, it doesn't like the smell of that. It's going to follow its nose, it's going to follow where it's drawn. Are you, as a generator, following your honest yes and no's? Or are you going to your head and trying to figure out what would be a better place or a better thing? Are you looking around and hearing other people's opinions? Can you allow yourself to come into the present moment and be in integrity with your yeses and your nos? So I'm inviting the generators just to stay with that inquiry. If you're a manifesting generator, you're also in that same inquiry with that defined sacral. Do I have a yes? Do I have a no? Where am I headed? What calls me? What speaks to me? The universe is showing me signs and signals all the time. Where do I want to go? Can I let my sacral yeses and nos be my guide? With your manifestor aspect of the manifesting generator, before you take action, you need to tell the people around you what you're going to do. If you just take the action, people might not be so happy. You might get some resistance. You might get resistance even with informing, but the road is smoother. The path is clearer. You're more in alignment. You're not asking permission when you inform people. You're letting them know that you are going to be impacting. In your response, you are going to be impacting the field. They are going to be impacted. Can you allow yourself the power of impacting in response? Or are you impacting before you're responding? That's not going to go over so well. Are you not sharing, informing? That's not going to go over so well. It's going to leave you with a lot of debris to work through, inflammation to have to calm down. We're inviting you to stand in your power as a manifesting generator. 21% roughly of the population are projectors. If you are a projector, you have a unique position on the planet. You are not here to be in response like the generators and manifesting generators. You have a different dharma. And I think of cats and projectors, that cats aren't out there interacting with the world, sniffing, seeing where they want to go. There's an ease, there's a resting, there's a witnessing capacity they have, knowing when to go somewhere, when someplace is the right place for them to go. Your strategy is to wait to respond, wait to be recognized. You're looking for where you can bring your wisdom, your guidance, and it's not going to be helpful for anyone if you try to give it to people who are not interested, are not wanting what you have to say. You're going to waste your breath. You're going to burn out. If you're looking around and thinking you should be a generator or a manifesting generator, you're going to burn out. Your pearls, your gifts are not going to be utilized. Your genius depends on your magnetism, depends on your alignment and understanding of who you are, and allowing yourself that pause, that waiting for the right moment, the right timing, the right people, the right circumstances to bring what you have to bring. Less than 9% of the population are manifestors. Again, like the projectors, they have that open sacral. The manifestors have a unique job, we could say, a unique contribution to humanity. They are here to get things going, to move things along, to impact people, situations, circumstances. Not necessarily an easy path, because other people do not necessarily like to be impacted. The best strategy for the manifester to have their impact be impactful is to inform, is to let people know what they're doing. Again, this is not a question of asking permission. This is standing in your power and telling, informing, this is what I'm going to do. This is what needs to happen. We need our manifestors to be aligned, to stand in their power, to allow themselves to be the initiators that they are. You have a lot of horsepower. You have a lot of capacity. Are you aligned or unaligned with that? How are you doing with your capacity? Less than 1% of the population are reflectors. The understanding is that reflectors, because they're completely open in all their centers and are taking in the world like all at once, all the time, that they need time. They need more time than the projectors. They need time to absorb and assimilate and sort through all the information that is coming through their system before they take action, before they make decisions. The strategy of the reflector is to wait a lunar cycle. So taking a moment now and sitting with your strategy. How is your flow in life? Are you having stop starts? Are you at ease? Where are you getting tripped up? Are you getting tripped up? Calling on your witnessing observer to see with compassion where your ego might be trying to make something happen or mitigate your impact or smooth things out for you when the ego doesn't have the bigger picture. The ego has a limited vision. What would it feel like if you were in the flow with yourself, if you were aligned? If you felt the wind beneath your wings, if you felt the universe had your back? If you could let yourself imagine that just for a moment. Imagine not worrying. Imagine being in the present and comfortable with where you were, trusting. In a minute, we're going to shift into the oils. You're going to need your strategy oil. Greg's going to lead us in a modified plant empowerment or a plant empowerment of that oil, and then lead us through the protocol to help shift and untangle where we might be caught up in an egoic pattern that's keeping us from the natural support that's available to us. So just taking a breath, sensing your arms and legs again. And gently opening your eyes and bringing yourself back. We're going to let Greg guide us now with the oils.
Okay. So you have your strategy oil. If you're a manifesting generator, you have 2 oils. We will be doing the process twice, but the process for the plant empowerment, we're just going to do once. So for the manifesting generators, go ahead and just pull out one of those oils, whichever one you feel a little bit more drawn to. And we'll do a plant empowerment and slide right into doing the process. Okay, so first you're going to just observe the plant. You're going to observe the oil. So hold it in your hand, take some long, slow, deep breaths, and just try to tap into the plant itself, the oil that's in the bottle. Long, slow, deep breaths. Now that you've taken a few long, slow, deep breaths, go ahead and open the bottle and just inhale it a few times. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Just make a connection to the oil and the plant inside that oil. Now put the cap back on and just notice how you feel. Keep your eyes closed and just notice how you feel. And now we're going to do some abdominal breathing. Your bottle's still capped, but you're taking long, slow, deep breaths with a pause or a gap between the inhalation and exhalation. Be sure to try to not have your chest move, but if your hand is down on your abdomen is extending as you inhale and compressing as you exhale. If it's a little difficult right now, that's okay, but still try to practice. Right? You're not inhaling the oil at this point. You're just taking some long, slow, deep breaths. In through the nose, inhale, pause, exhale. Inhale through the nose, pause, exhale slowly. Pause. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. Just be still for a moment. Uncap the oil and just take some nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then just pause. Just be still. Let it incubate. Now reach up and just pinch the tip of your nose. Just pinch it a couple of times. You're doing this so it becomes easy to keep your awareness on the tip of your nose. Your awareness is on the tip of your nose, and you're taking long, slow, deep breaths. You're not using the oil, you're just taking long, slow, deep breaths to anchor the mind. Your awareness is on the tip of the nose, which helps to anchor the mind. Inhaling, pausing, exhaling, pausing. Go at your own pace, but inhale, pause, exhale. And then pause, uncap the bottle, and begin inhaling again. Just see how the plant is now. And then just let everything go. Just close your eyes, let go of the inhalation, just be still, let it all incubate. Now we're going to do a process called integration and intuitive intelligence. Your awareness is on your heart, the center of your chest. As you look like at the bottle or the plant, just look at it in your hand with your awareness on your heart. Keep looking at it. Bring the bottle up to your heart. Continue to think of the plant. Uncap the bottle and begin inhaling again. See how it treats you. And then just be still. Let it all go for a moment. either through just connecting with the plant or by looking at the bottle in your hand like you just did. Let's radiate love and mercy to the plant. You can even silently say, may you be blessed with divine love, divine mercy. Let all the little energy beings associated with this plant and this oil be blessed with divine love and divine mercy. And then again, uncap and begin inhaling. And then just be still. Just be still. Now, you're going to have your bottle, you're going to place it in your hand and then place your other hand over the top of it. And we're going to use prayer. We're going to use a prayer of transmutation. We're going to use a prayer of St. Francis of Assisi, which is associated with not only transmutation, but interaction with the creative forces in the earth, be it the plants or the animal kingdom. So your hand is over the top of the bottle, and you say, just silently, Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Make me an instrument of your peace. Try to keep your awareness on your heart, the center of your chest, as you do this process. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, I will pardon. Where there is injury, I will pardon. Keep your awareness on your heart. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy. Make me an instrument of thy peace and joy. Uncap the bottle and take some long, slow, deep breaths. And then put the cap back on and be still. Now take the bottle, hold it up between your eyebrows, and silently affirm, thank you for helping me to have greater alignment with my true nature and to accelerate my evolutionary process. Thank you for helping me to have greater alignment with my true nature and to accelerate my evolutionary process. Thank you for helping me to have greater alignment with my true nature and to accelerate my evolutionary process. Again, take the cap off and begin inhaling. Take some nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Now, just be still. Be aware. Just notice how you feel. We're going to work the strategy now in the protocol. So begin inhaling, just taking long, slow, deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, just like you've been doing. As you inhale, your awareness is on the low back area opposite your navel. So low back area opposite your navel. Pause and be still for a moment. Just pause and be still. Your awareness is between your shoulder blades. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Awareness is between the shoulder blades. And then pause and be still. Your awareness is on your brain. Long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on your brain. Taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths, your awareness on your brain. And then pause and be still. This time, we're going to do the low back, the area between your shoulder blades, and your brain all at the same time. All three spots. Your awareness is on the low back, the area between your shoulder blades, and your brain at the same time, and take long, slow, deep breaths. And then pause and be still. We're going to do this process again. If you're a manifesting generator, continue to use the same oil that you just used. Don't switch yet. We'll come back and switch at some point. Again, begin inhaling, taking long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on the low back area. Move your awareness to the area between your shoulder blades. Move your awareness to the brain. Just pause and be still. Your awareness is on your low back, the area between your shoulder blades, and your brain, all three at the same time. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then pause and be still. Just pause and be still. We're going to do it again. If you're a manifesting generator, this is the time to switch to the other oil. If you're not a manifesting generator, just keep doing the same thing you're doing. Begin inhaling. Your awareness is on that low back area opposite your navel. Move your awareness to the area between your shoulder blades. And your awareness is on the brain. Long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the brain. Just pause and be still. Your low back, the area between your shoulder blades, and your brain, all three at the same time. Long, slow, deep breaths. And then be still, be aware, and let go. Let's do that one more time. Begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the low back. Long, slow, deep breath. Move your awareness to the area between your shoulder blades. Move your awareness to the brain. Your awareness is between your shoulder blades. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. your brain. Your awareness is on your brain. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on your brain. And just pause a moment. You're going to do your low back, the area between your shoulder blades and the crown, the brain, all at the same time. Low back, the area between your shoulder blades and the brain, all three at the same time. Long, slow, deep breaths. Just pause and be still. Just let it incubate. Your eyes are closed. What do you notice? Can you feel something happening? Was there a shift? What do you feel in your body? Do you feel something in your body? What do you notice when you think of your strategy? Is there a different relationship with your intention/desire than when we first started? A little bit of uncertainty or a little bit of, I'm not sure, and like you're having to contemplate is a good sign, actually. Whenever you are beginning to shift, you don't come from a place of focus or where everything's super well defined, because you would still be thinking the same way. When you start to have a little bit of um, a moment where you have to kind of contemplate or you're unsure, it's because something's shifting, something's changing. And so if that's happening, just let it happen. Uncertainty in this phase is a good thing. Just let it incubate. And turn you over now back to Robin.
Thank you, Greg. I'm going to leave you pinned with me. Wow, that was I feel like, you take medicine and then it starts to work in your body. I feel the tingling and the aliveness and the shifts. And like you said, kind of not quite having something to grab hold of, like, oh yeah, this is what's happening, but just a sense that there are shifts afoot. So we want to open it up now and see if what your experience is, if you'd like to share, if any questions you have coming up. You can either post in the chat or you can raise your hand. I know for me, something that's happening that's really interesting is that I didn't realize there's so much that happens with the oils, like awareness kind of amplifies. And I noticed that I had a block right at my occiput that's starting to open, like there's a flow starting to move through that I wasn't aware was blocked. So, and just a lot of aliveness percolating. So any experiences you had you'd like to share? What's your experience now when you think about your strategy? Let's just start by putting a number in now, 0 to 10, in terms of feeling. Do you feel more aligned, or just say even more or less aligned with your strategy, or not? No difference, no knowing. Just go ahead and put that in the chat. Ebony says, my mind was clear and I gained more energy. I felt like my body was shifted more to the left. Catherine feels more. Nancy, at the very end shift I had was a bright light came to me with my eyes closed, very relaxed. Jean, more aligned. Margot, more. Akiko, more aligned with more presence. Elisa, I'm on to something, using my strategy differently with people who aren't open to impact. Wow, just feel that. Here we have a manifester. Not easy. Remember, guys, not easy to be a manifester or a woman manifester in our world. Let's be clear. So that brings tears to my eyes. Joe, deep relaxation. Feel my right lower back. Yeah. So we've set something in motion. We've started something, and we don't know how it's going to unfold, right? That's we're in the mystery of this. Leslie D, generator part is awake, manifester part is stirring, right? I love that. Greg and I had a little discussion about these oils with the manifesting generators. I was like, no, you need one oil for the manifesting generator. He said, no, we're having 2 oils for the manifesting generator. And I can see with your response, Leslie, that makes sense. Like, yeah, there's these 2 different aspects. Yeah, Joe's shaking her head too. This the manifester part can be tricky for manifesting generators as well, right? And especially for women manifesting generators. Like, do we have permission to impact? Is it okay? We're so conditioned to be seen and not heard. So it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. I'd love to hear from a projector. Any of the projectors willing to either put in chat or speak speak online with us about your experience. You can just unmute yourself or type in chat. Jean or Catherine or Yarrow. Invitation. Yeah, Catherine.
I'm a very conditioned projector. And so it feels good to be calm. And I feel much more peaceful and calm for having done this process.
Mm.
And to think that this is more natural and more aligned to me is such a relief, because I've just been miserable. So I'm looking forward to having this be the norm as opposed to what I know. So thank you so much.
Welcome. Isn't that wild that this could be your norm?
Totally wild.
What? It's a game changer, right? A full-on game changer. Yeah. So beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Yeah. Thank you. Anyone else have a question or want to share your experience, willing to share? Ebony, I keep looking at you. Do you have something you want to say? No? Okay. All right. Greg, anything else you want to say?
No, like I would say, one of the things that's nice is we go through and we have this experience, but I would say doing this kind of consistently can really be something that integrates and sets in a pattern. And going back to what you were saying at the very beginning with this aspect being like how we flow through life. It's a little bit of like going back and forth as you go through and you shift these things. You'll have a nice experience and then you go out in the world and like the person was just saying, like, I'm a conditioned version of this. And a lot of times we start to make a shift and then we go out into the world and we start to hit those triggers or that stimuli that reinforces the conditioning. And so to kind of keep going back and forth, back and forth. And, at first you'll have a good experience and then you might go back out and it feels like, but if you do it kind of consistently, you're really starting to integrate a shift or a change that not only starts to transform you, but starts to transform even the situations or the people that have provided the triggers or the stimuli for these things to happen. And so the more that we do this, not only are we shifting ourselves, but we're shifting some of the things in the environment. And our logical mind always wants to go to this place of like, what do I have to do? What do I have to say? How do I make this work? But going back to what Robin said, this is like how we flow in life or flow through life. It also can be how it flows in these situations with the stimuli from other situations or people, or the tendency to be triggered by a particular person. And as we go through and it's starting to flow through us, it begins to create like a different kind of flow with the things in the environment. And I would say, we did kind of a long version, but even if you did just like a little short version of this, like multiple times a week, you could finish your day with just doing this as you go to bed or doing this right as you begin your day, and really keep reinforcing that flow, that pattern in your normal everyday life. Little by little, things begin to shift. And, you might have big shifts in a moment and you might have some small ones. But in something like this, when you're trying to like shift an alignment or shift how we interact, it's a lot of little movements. It's not a big thing, it's a lot of little movements. And we have a good experience in this situation, but we want to keep building on another little good experience, another good experience. And like the person said, like, I'm a conditioned, version of my strategy. And, over a period of time, at first this feels good, but we want to be able to hold on to this and shift this in ways that it just is able to stay. And so I guess what I'm saying is repetition and consistency is a great way to make the shift and have it integrate and stay.
That's beautiful, Greg. Thank you so much. Um, and that fits with strategy being foundational to all of human design. This is a key element. So to use this oil every morning or make a practice with it, right? Yeah, Margot.
Is this protocol that we just followed in the book?
It is.
And obviously it will be in the gosh, I'm just lost my word. The recording, it'll be in the recording,
Yes.
obviously, but okay, thanks.
And thank you, Margot. That's great. Really appreciate, see, Margot's a manifester. She's getting things going. So what I'll do in response as a generator, I'm going to write it out. When I send out the recording, I'll write out this protocol. So you'll have it written right there with the recording. So you can just look at that and, copy paste, put on a 3x5 card, or, I often do that with a protocol. I'll put a little 3x5 card with a protocol and have my oil with it so I can just pick it up. So thank you, Margot, for that. I want to just say something, Greg, you're going to maybe go, So when I was doing this protocol with you today, and again, you have an intuitive way of doing this, and I thought back, okay, the lower back, I thought back to when I was doing Rosen method body work, and my teacher, Marion Rosen, said the lower back is about support. And if someone's tight in their lower back, they're not getting the support they need. And how did I start this? Like the support of the universe. Do we have the support of the universe behind us? Then she talked about that place in the scapula behind the heart, in that mid-back area that you're pointing to between the shoulder blades. She talked about that as a place of betrayal, where we have betrayals. And so where we have betrayals is where we shut down to the universe, right? We don't trust. So we're at the strategy oil is really asking us to trust the universe, trust ourselves, trust our strategy. And then the brain, going to the brain, so much of our conditioning happens in our mind. So much is the conclusions we've drawn that the world isn't safe, or I don't have a right to say yes to something that other people are saying no to, or whatever it would be. So I don't know, I just felt like, oh, these three areas are really big grounding places to shift something, shift our support, shift where we felt betrayed, shift our thinking. So that was my one of the things that went through me as we did this.
Great.
So
Yeah, that's great.
I got a question here. How does this practice correlate with our ray types? Jean asked that. And that's not in my purview, so I don't know if you have any thoughts, Greg, with that.
Ray types. Talking about soul ray? Is that what she's talking about?
Jean, are you here? Yeah, okay, Jean, our projector, yeah. Who's in the rays of sunlight here. Yeah, go ahead and unmute yourself, Jean.
Soul rays. How does this? I don't know that it directly corresponds. Different rays, I mean, this is a whole different ball of wax, but different rays have different personality types and ways that they interact, but that's a different approach. And so probably not a great time to answer that. I don't know that it would have a big impact on a specific ray as far as bringing the ray forth or helping to realize the true nature of the ray, but each ray is going to process this in a different way, but it's a whole different kind of conversation. Yeah. Like that's a
Yeah.
whole different kind of conversation. And so just not that I don't want to answer it, it's just like just so it's not confusing. Like maybe I'm glad to answer that like via email or something. We could handle it that way.
Really appreciate that, Greg, that we want to keep
Yeah.
clear,
Yeah.
not muck up different different systems.
Yeah.
Um,
But
so
but I also like to talk about the different systems, and so I would say just for the sake of everybody, we won't answer it here, but feel free to email me, and I'm glad to talk it out another way.
great. Any other? Okay, Catherine, you want to unmute yourself and I will.
So I am getting into this late because this is the fifth of the 5 series. So maybe this question's been answered. I apologize. But how, there's the profile and the type and the strategy. It's a lot of different oils and basically the same protocol, but how do you know when to do which?
That is a brilliant question. Greg, do you have any
Well, I think she's asking about like how to work the different pieces is like you know, working with the oils, you'll work in these different aspects, and yes, inhaling and using the oils, but each piece does have a little bit of a different approach and a different thing of what it's trying to shift or align within your physiology and your psyche. But at first I would go through and work a piece at a time. Like I'd really work your type, and then after that go deeper on the more advanced type, and then kind of follow the process of the book and work each aspect. And then towards the end, you can start integrating all the different pieces together. But I would go deep with each piece and not so much like looking at it from the point of view of treating like a symptom or when it's kind of like when you're working something or shifting something or learning something new, how like it's a little bit consuming. When you're working your type, I just really work your type for a while, and then after that go a little bit deeper on the type, and then eventually you're working your strategy, you're working your lines, you're working your profile. I would spend time with each one, and then as you've kind of connected to each piece with the oils, because you're going from thinking about it intellectually and trying to do it with a certain part of your mind. With the oils, you're using a different part of your mind, and it gives it time to allow things to kind of integrate. And then towards the end, there's processes that just pull everything together. That's when I would go through and pull everything together.
All right, so since I am starting at the end here,
Mhm.
I thank you, Robin, for sending me the links for the other ones. Well, did that go through like starting with the type? Okay.
Yeah,
so-
yes.
So I'll
Yeah,
just,
I would start with your type right off the bat. I'd work the type for a little while.
okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
definitely?
And then let us
And-
know how it goes. Like, you're starting and doing the process. Always love to hear a little feedback as you go through, you do your process.
Okay, and does it make sense? Like sometimes I just grab a bottle and I don't go through the whole protocol like in the book or here.
Mhm.
Does that still have value?
Yeah, it still has value. Just inhaling the oil does a lot of the heavy lifting for you, right? And so just inhaling the oil is a level or like a phase of treatment. Like going through and guiding it through the different parts of the body is going to take it deeper. But just if you picked up like your type or your strategy and started inhaling it, it would still have a lot of impact. Here, like what we're doing, this isn't done in the essential oil world even very much. Most people would just inhale it and let it be. But here we're really taking it and driving it so much deeper by putting our attention and awareness on these different aspects that it accelerates the process to a higher degree. But there's times where, you know, like last night I was sitting on the edge of the bed. We're in a hotel room somewhere, and you know, I didn't follow protocol. I pulled out one of my oils and I just started inhaling, and I was just enjoying the oil for what it was. Like, I didn't do a big process or anything. I was thinking, yeah, I'll do a process in a minute, and I laid back and didn't do anything. It still had a lot of impact on me.
So as I'm going, starting with my type,
Mhm.
is like a month a good amount
Oh
of
yeah, maybe not even that long. Like maybe go like a week or so, week or 2 weeks, and then kind of shift and move into the next part. Yeah.
All right, and doing the whole routine, and as you were saying, just picking up the oil casually.
Yeah, I would do both. You know, like one of the things that I was doing last night too is I was doing that with the strategy, but you could do it with the type. Like I was doing the roller ball like right here on the thumb web, and it's a way to kind of keep setting the energy pattern in the body without even really having to inhale it. You know, the inhaling and directing is very, very potent, but still just putting a little dab on here or there and just kind of, you're keeping connected to it, but you're allowing the plant to penetrate the skin, get in the blood. And, you know, it has a physiological effect and a psychological effect. When we inhale it, we're directing it, but even just putting it on will still have a big impact.
Okay, it's nice to know that you can do it in various different ways
Yeah.
as a way of getting deep with it.
Yeah, the lots of different ways to the top of the mountain. You know what I mean? Like you can do a little bit of everything, and I encourage experimentation. Like you know, like there might be one way that just really resonates with you. You know, you run with that a little bit.
I've also had students who, projectors in particular, who just carry the bottle around with them.
Mhm.
And the frequency, you're still getting the frequency of the oil. So you're wanting to make a shift to align. However, you know, follow what you know. What are you called to do? What's your relationship to your projector self? That's really what you're looking at and asking the oils to help you with that. All the protocols are in the book, yes. And so Nancy asks, how long do the oils last if one just smells them? Thank you, Catherine.
They'll last for a very long time. You know, especially being like in the roller balls, oils have a very long shelf life, except for things that are like citruses. Citruses would still have a long shelf life for inhalation, but after a while, topical application starts to be a little bit of a thing, just because the citruses will become a little bit acidic after 4 or 5 years. But I mean, the molecules, when you open up the bottle, what's giving you the scent are the molecules, right? The molecules are evaporating up into the air, and you're inhaling them and then getting them into the body. And so as long as there's still some of that oil left in there, that usually lasts. Like over a period of time, the smell might start to diminish, but it will take a very long time for that to happen. I mean, in the bottles, we put a substantial amount of essential oil. It's about 40% the essential oil, and then about 60% jojoba, which lengthens the life of it. And it's a lot more essential oil in there than when people usually do roller balls, but we make it so that it lasts a really long time.
Thank you, Greg. Yeah, Joe, last question, Joe.
I find myself the first time I open an oil, I get a real scent. And then I find myself chasing after it because I can't always get that incredible impact every time. And you know, I'm efforting.
Yeah, so Joe, Greg talked about this, I think 2 classes ago, with a question Margot had. If you want to go back and listen to it, he talked about smelling the oils and how they dissipate, the smell dissipates, and there's a whole discussion on that, if you
Okay.
want to look at that.
Thank you.
And your nose also gets used to it a little bit. Like that first time, it's like, ugh, I love this smell. And then after a while, you get used to it. It's just like, you go out to a restaurant and you order some nice food or something, and that first bite is amazing. And that 12th bite, it's good, but it's not like that first bite. You know what I mean? It's your nose and your taste buds are very closely linked, and your body just starts to get used to it a little bit. So you can kind of tease yourself. You can cap it for a little bit and go, I'm not gonna smell you for a day, and then crack it back open again and see how that treats you.
Yeah, but you're still getting, just so you know, you're still getting
Oh
the
yeah,
benefit.
totally,
Without, yeah.
totally. Yeah.
Okay, let's take a moment in closing just to hold our strategy oil, bring it to our heart, just have gratitude for our particular strategy, welcome it, make the intention to align with it, to let it support us, to remove any places we've shut down to our strategy, any beliefs we have that we are not allowed to live our strategy. And just to honor ourselves and the path we're on, and knowing it's a journey. As Greg said, where we get aligned, we get unaligned. We're trying to find that place where we're home with our strategy. It is our resting place. It is our security and support. Okay, thank you all. And we'll be in touch. Take care.